So, yeah.
So, he said you should turn the video.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a
not
camera
very.
cannot be like that when you're turn the video. This.
Straight.
Hello, everybody. I am trying to get used to this my alive video. The setup is telling me to rotate my video to a particular. Good morning, everybody. I am extremely excited to be here. This is the first of its kind for me, and I'm a bit nervous, and I'm trying to calm down to be able to do this right. For today, it's going to be my own confessions that I want to talk about. I want to confess to so many things, to my own fears and all the things that could have hindered, that is hindering, and that is and I'll try as much as possible, to relate it to the things that happen in our relationships. Somebody is making noise in that place, so Simi, thank you for being here. I can see Moses. Thank you for being here. In fact, the fact that you are here is one of the 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 joys of being able to do this, because I've told myself I've had the urge to do live series on on Facebook and Instagram and all of that, and for a long time I've given myself series of excuses why I can't do it, why it is not right, and let me just confess to some of these things so that you can know that fear is real. And there's a way that fear also interfaces with our relationship and cripples us from doing the things that we should be doing. So for me today is going to be my own confession. So the first confession that I have to say is that initially when I started to conceive this idea of running a live program and all of that, the first thing that came to my mind is, you don't have equipment, so you don't have equipment to be able to do this. Ruth, good morning. I can see you, Ruth Dumade, my sister forever, and Temi, I can see her too here, So I'm like, I don't have equipment, so I don't have lights, studio, and everything that will make me do this well. The second thing that came to my mind is that, what if technology does not work? What if in the middle of the thing you just go off, then you cannot come back on? Then all those things. I said, hey, I won't be able to do any live streaming. So if technology is going to be going back and forth, then I also thought about it that, what if nobody joins me? What if I'm the only person that is there and there is nobody looking at me? At that time that you are doing it, I was afraid again that, hey, you go and do something that only you will be there. So that one too was one of the reasons why I've been pulling back from doing this. Then I also thought about it that a lot of people are already talking about relationships. So what do you want to go and add? What do you want to go and subtract? And I thought about all these things, and the truth is the fear is real. In fact, let me even be truthful. I also thought about what clothes will you be wearing? That and I thought about all of these things, and for all my fears, let me talk about some of the things that I had also thought about that was able to release me from the hold of these fears. When I thought about the equipment, I said, I'm going to start where I am and I'm going to grow from where I am. I don't have to be expert at the beginning. Like, for instance, as I'm here now, all the torchlights in my house, they are pointing it at me. All the small lights that I was able to gather together. But we are here. and we are going to start rough and grow later. I also thought about, the internet. I'm like, I'm not the producer of internet. Internet goes off and comes on. And if it goes off while I'm doing, whatever I'm trying to do, we will rock it together now. I'll go back and re-strategize again and come back and see how I can, technology, I'm not the producer of technology. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. The day that Nigeria stops having technology issues, that's the day I will stop too. So it's not going to be a big deal, and it's not going to embarrass me enough not to want to do this again. And when I thought about, we have, what clothes am I going to wear? Truth is, I don't have a lot of clothes. I wear the one that I have. It's not a dressing competition. I'm not here to impress anybody with the cloth that I wear today is my cloth. So when you see it tomorrow, it's still my cloth. So irrespective of the number of people that have seen it, it doesn't matter. It's still my cloth. So I'm not borrowing it. And it's not a fashion parade anyway. So, hey, I'm happy a lot of people are joining. CC, Mrs. Busayo, Sajimi, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of people join. And my fear of if nobody watches is almost being dispelled, because even if it is one eye that is watching it, then we will grow. Then people will see it later as well. So, I don't have to really kill myself because people are not watching as we speak. Thank you. And which brings me to the point where I'm saying thank you a lot for the people that are here. Fear is real. Fear cripples us from doing the things that we ought to do, from doing the things. Okay, I think I didn't answer one. And for the fact that, there are enough people talking about relationships already. It is true. We have a lot of people talking about relationships, but I bring my own DNA to the table. I'm going to attract my tribe of people, the people that we think alike, the people that we would reason alike. And these are my tribe of people. I don't have to, attract people from other tribes. The people in my tribe will see the sense in what I'm trying to say. And no matter how many people are already in the field, please join in. Join in. If you have something that you want to do, please do it. Don't let fear cripple you to the point of inactivity, because that is what fear has come to do. So I have my fears and I am still here. In fact, this morning I woke up very early, on top of what? Because I want to be alive on Facebook. Because I want to come alive. Like our ex-president's wife said that you'll be alive on 80. So because I wanted to be alive here, I've thought about different things, but I'm here now. I'm not melted, I'm not dying yet, and things are going as planned. Okay, I can see. Hey, Sister Ifij, Osita, thank you very much for being here. So I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm glad that you're here. You don't know how much this means to me that you are here to, encourage me on this journey. We all know the start of something. We don't know how it's going to pan out. We don't know how things are going to run eventually, but we know that, I'm going to start. And starting a thing is good because you don't know what is on the other side of obedience. So what is that thing that is crippling you to? What is that thing, that fear that has always, prevented you from achieving your own dreams? What are those things that you have considered? The truth is that it remains fear until you look at it critically and begin to analyze it, that this is not going to stop me. This is not going to stop me. I am going to, despite the fear, continue to take steps forward. And that is what every one of us need to do. We need to, despite our fears, continue to take steps forward and see how, we can become better people, how we can become better versions of ourselves. And so, what are those excuses that, you have put in your own way that is preventing you from seeking relational, success? There are so many of us that we have just, quietened down, especially for most of us that we are married. We've gotten to the point where we feel like this is how it's going to be. We are not seeking deeper intimacy. We are not seeking, to take our relationships to the next level. We just feel like, what? And most of us, like I used to call it, we are at that point of passive resignation. Whatever will happen, let it happen. Nothing. What else now? What else do we do? I've tried to talk to her, I've tried to talk to him, and it's not changing. And for some of us that are not married, that are, in that place where somebody has jilted you before, somebody has broken your heart, and all of those, and you're afraid to face love again. Well, truth is, we will not let fear cripple us. There's an adage in my place that says that it is a man that will jilt you, and it's a man that will heal the wound, and which is very true. So we need to get to that point where we know that, despite our fears, we need to continue to work on our relationship, because relationships are so dynamic that it takes working on it to get it better. Nothing stays at a nothing stays static in a relationship. It's either is improving or is deteriorating, and we need to arrest our relationships and continue to put the work and the love. Every one of us used to hear about love is love is work, marriage is hard work, and we know all those things. But what are those kind of work that we should be investing in our relationships to take our relationships to the next level? And that is the reason why we are here. The people that enjoy love and life, they are those people that know that at best life is imperfect, and that every aspect of life sometimes can be uncertain, and we need to brace up for the things that would eventually unfold in our marriages. And people of faith, I know that we have problems with people spelling doom, or trying to insinuate that we'll face challenges. But even God himself, Jesus Christ himself, said that in this life you have tribulation, but be of good cheer, because I have overcome the world. And our relationships are not exempt from such challenges. Every single one of us will go through a form of challenge or the other. And if we are not careful, we end up not, oh, Aki, I can see you that you are there. Thank you very much for joining. Ruth Damali joined. Hey, only me one. People are joining. Thank you very much for being here, because I would have run away if I can't find anybody here. So I need to just let us know that our relationships are they're not going to be, no matter how special we think we are, no matter the kind of grace that we think we carry, our relationships will go through ups and downs from time to time. And what are the skills that we have to deal with the issues that will come up? It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. When the issues begin to arise, what are the skill sets that I have to handle such challenges? And like I said in the promotional video that I did some time ago, I said that a lot of decisions that we make, it is not predicated on whether we know the right or the wrong things. It is when people accept us for who we are that makes it easier for us to be able to do the right things. There are so many things that we know that are wrong, because people, a lot of people talk about relationship from the viewpoint of consequences, and the things that you do right and the things that you do wrong. And a lot of us feel like people should wise up. They should know what is right and wrong. But the truth is, we know a lot of things that are right. We know a lot of things that are wrong. I personally have been in that space where I need to choose between right and wrong. And sometimes you discover that wrong is easier. Not necessarily because you're a bad person, but because life just happens to all of us, and it is not necessarily because of the knowledge of right or wrong. And so our decisions sometimes are not predicated on the rightness or the wrongness of whatever we are doing. Sometimes it takes people to understand us at a level, and people wanting to, when you know that the people around you are not judging you, they are interested in finding out what and why you have done a particular thing. I think that way it is easier for people. Hey, Pastor Dumadi, I can see you there. It is easier for you to also be able to own up to your wrong and also try not to do such things again. When you feel judged, I've been in counseling room where people feel like they are being judged, and whatever I know I'll be wrong. So let me be wrong. And when we continue to bring out this kind of character in people, it doesn't help our relationship. So we need skill sets to be able to handle our relationships in such a way that it will be more productive. It will bring us the bliss and the intimacy that we have always desired. And so it brings me to talk to us about a few things that we expect as week in, week out as we do this. Every week, I plan that because I've been schooled in this area, not necessarily because I'm better, and not necessarily because I have a better relationship, but because I have been schooled in this area, I intend to bring out skills that will help us to work on our relationships and that will be able to produce the intimacy that we are desiring. So the skill set that we need. Sometimes it is not, like I said, sometimes it is not about knowing the rightness or the wrongness of something, but sometimes we lack the skills to be able to deliver the results that we have always admired. And so these are some of the things that I would want to talk about. Also, for us to be able to gain the clarity as to what in your relationship you should be planning to change and the things that you should not even bother. Because whether we like it or not, marriage relationships, they are a paradox that you must manage. Sometimes they are not puzzles that you need to fix. Sometimes there are things that need not be fixed. It just needs to be managed. And we need to know the difference. There are times that you are having personality clashes with people. If you are in that space where what you are fighting is the personality of your spouse, you might never get a result. And so we need to be clear as to what is it that I am supposed to be fighting. Abby Pops one is here. Thank you, Victory, for validating that thing. That wrong sometimes is easier. I beg, you just blow the thing off and just feel better about yourself. Thank you for validating that thing that I just said. And let's be real human beings here, because sometimes when we talk about these things, we become so holier than thou, and people just don't find, the connection. We just feel like all of a sudden we are demons because we are owning up to our own truths. So I intend to be able to help us to manage those things that to be able to be clear on the things that you should be fighting, the things that you should submit to in your relationship, so that the relationship can move smoothly. Then also I also think that on this platform, one of the purpose of bringing starting the platform is a lot of us, we know that we might not understand that the part of us that loves, is that child in us that loves, and the child in us will throw tantrums and is not mature. The part of us that dares to love is the child in us, and the child in us will remain a child until it is schooled and grown to a particular level where it can begin to take responsibility. Most of us, love to us looks like something that is logical, but love is not logical. A lot of decisions that we take, they are emotionally based, and we don't know those things, and so we continue to make mistakes and demand from people to behave their age, whereas they don't have what it takes, because the part of them that loves, the part of all of us, every single one of us, that can dare to be vulnerable is the child in us. And most of us emotionally will have stunted growth, especially emotionally. And if you're in Africa, I can assure you that don't bother to want to find out whether it is true or not. We have emotional, stuntedness. And because the child the part of us that dares to love is the child in us, it means that we'll continue to have emotional reactions to things, and people will be wondering, there's a conflict between who we are supposed to be and who we really are. And so a lot of times people would, hear your case. For instance, let's say, for instance, a husband and a wife, that the wife is refusing to talk to the husband. That is a typical thing that would happen with a child. Imagine your children saying that I will not play with you, and the other one to answering, your 3-year-old and 4-year-old, I will not play with you again. But we do that in marriage a lot. Once your partner, but we do it in a mature way. Once your partner says, I will not talk to you again, what you do to is, I will not talk to you, and you begin to react that way. If I try to greet you and you don't want to greet me back, so go your way, I go my way. But that's a reaction of a child. That's what a child would typically do. And so, how do you grow your emotions from where they are to that place where they're supposed to be? How do you begin to train the child in you, or the adult, the logical part of you, to be able to get, the child in you to be able to catch up with your logical side? that is one of the things that we're going to be doing on this platform, to be able to grow our relationships to the place where, our cognitive and our emotional are at par. Because most of us, we like I said, the skill set that we have is still that of a child emotionally, and love is mostly emotional. And so it gives meaning to us, gives interpretation to some of the behavior that we usually exhibit when things happen around our relationships. And so it is, if I touch you and you refuse to touch me back, what was that supposed to mean? But it means a lot. People that are married and people that are in relationship will understand that when I touch you and you don't touch me back, yeah, you're trying to be proud to me. But people that are listening to it, they don't. And in fact, most of the time, when, like for instance, when I have clients and I'm listening to them, I try not to listen to what they're talking. I try not to listen to what they're saying, because I know that there are always underlying reasons why they're having the issues. And these underlying reasons can never be, can never be given voice to. You can't say it in public that, yeah, when I now touch you, I wanted to have sex with you. I'm now turned the other way. You don't know that you embarrassed me. Like that. People will not be able to say those things. And so I'm trying to help us gain our voice to get to that place where we can speak truthfully about the things that are happening in our relationships. Like I said, sometimes I am not very interested in what you are saying. I'm interested in the things that are playing behind the scene. Behind the scene is where you get what the real issues are. And so trying to help you understand what the real issues are in your relationship so that you can solve them from the very roots is something that I think that we all need skill to be able to do, to learn how to listen to our partner's real hurts, to learn how to, listen and also interpret what their gestures mean. Because sometimes you don't even have an idea what somebody is talking about, and you think that what they're talking about is a hanger and the car and all of that. What they're talking about is completely different. So we all need to be schooled in that regard to know the things that we should expect in our relationship, how to hear, how to listen, and all of that. Also, I also think that for some of us, we also need to know that we need to understand ourselves and understand the patterns that have produced. Okay, there's something that's you know distracted me just now. Okay, so some of us also, we need to understand and alter the patterns that have brought us where we are. We have a lot of patterns that produced us. We have a lot of patterns that we have been following, that we have just been replicating without thinking. Most of us, we think that we are in charge of the decisions that we are making, but we are not. There is a particular programming that we are running, and we don't know that these are the programming that we are running. And so we need to be able to get to a point where we understand the programmings that we are running, so that we'll be able to make better decisions. We will understand our own patterns. Sometimes when you are blaming your partner for doing something, there is also actually a part of you that is encouraging that behavior, and you need to understand, what am I doing? What am I gaining? Because sometimes for every bad behavior that you encourage, there's something that you are gaining at the other end that you need to be aware of. And you need to be able to now trade. Am I okay to lose whatever I'm gaining? Sometimes, it's easier when you're talking about children, but when it comes to, your adult relationship, you may not be able to interpret it correctly. So, for instance, for someone that has a child, for instance, and that child, you want a child that is that would tell you that, mommy, I love you, mommy, you're the best thing that has ever happened to me, mommy this, mommy that. You need the attention and you need the affection from that child. And because of the attention and the affection that you need from that child, the child might do something that you don't want, especially, let me add this, especially if you're not in good terms with your spouse. And there's always that battle between couples where you need their attention, especially when they are grown, when they are teenagers and all of that, and you know that it's easy for them to take sides now. You begin to do everything in your power to ensure that this child, I win this child to my to my side. And so, you begin to, when the child does something that you should reprimand the child for, you begin to slow down on reprimanding the child because you need the child to be on your team. And so that is you, what you are gaining is affection, approval, and that child will get away with bad behavior. And so also is the same thing applies in our relationships. There are things that you allow, there are things that you don't necessarily endorse, but you allow because there is something that you are gaining, and you need to be able to understand yourself to that point where you are able to know that, okay, this is what I'm gaining. I think I actually need approval from this relationship, or whatever it is, or if it is money, whatever it is, and know that for me to be able to change this narrative, what am I willing to lose? And so we'll be talking about relationship at that level where we are able to, unmask all of these things. You see yourself more clearly, you see the other person. Because when we talk relationship, it is easy for people to think that my partner is wrong, I am right, and if the person can change, the relationship will be fixed. And there's nothing further than the truth than that. When your partner changes, the problem is that you continue to sabotage that relationship. Not necessarily because you want to, but because you need, we all need someone that we can blame for our faults. And so the first person to look at might be you, so that you know that, okay, this thing that I'm experiencing, what is my contribution? If there is anything that is really, 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 really difficult for people to be able to come to terms with, is to know their own contributions to the issues that they're having in their relationships. It is difficult. I've been in the counseling room for a while, and I know it is difficult for people to understand their contributions. What do you do that triggers a particular reaction in your spouse? What do you do that keeps getting you into that cycle? I hope I got that word right. Cycle. Yeah, cycle. What do you do that keeps you in that cycle, and that you continue to replicate the same issues? And for people that are married, you understand what I'm saying, because usually there is one particular conversation that we keep dancing around, that we keep going in circles. There's Adekunle, I can see you. Thank you very much. Olusegun Abiola, thank you very much. I guess that those are our people, our relations that are coming on board. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. And so there are issues that we continue to dance around. There are issues that we continue to, that is just recurrent in our relationship. It's there. It never goes away. And how do you identify this issue? What are we really talking about? That's the first thing, because the thing that we're talking about is different from, like I said, it's different from this child is not paying, this woman is not respecting me. They are deeper than that, and we need to be able to unveil some of these things to be able to know how to now delve into the problem and get them solved. So I would appreciate if you are here and we can talk about these real issues that bother our relationships, that bothers all our relationships. What are those things that what are the yardsticks that we should be looking at in measuring our relationship? How do I begin to listen to my partner? How do I begin to communicate? We need skills to be able to do all of these things and to do them well. I also think that there is another thing that is very major here in our own side of the divide, which is in Africa. I think that when it comes to relationship, we have a lot of people that are in the field that are doing that claim to be helping marriages, but the only side that they know how to, the only yardstick they use in solving relational issues remain religious yardsticks. We use cultural yardsticks. We use social yardsticks, and some of these limiting yardsticks, let me put it that way, that causes us to look at relationship in from a very narrow spectrum. And this is beginning to suffocate a lot of us. Eventually, whatever the real issues are in the relationships, in our relationships are not being addressed. For instance, I have a problem with my husband, or he has a problem with me, and we seek counsel. Okay, probably we cannot handle the issues ourselves, and we seek counsel. And if they tell me that he's older than you, close your mouth, you two don't talk to him again, or they tell him that she's younger than you, and why not just leave her? She's a child. The thing is that whatever the problem that we have has not been solved. It has only been danced around. And we'll go back. Okay, he will keep quiet because they have asked him to keep quiet, which is just, our own culture. That, okay, keep quiet. Don't talk when he's talking. When your husband is talking, keep quiet. You too, love her. That way, the real issue hasn't been solved. Sometimes we have people solving issues, religiously. And people just tell you, love you too, submit. Which, at the end of the day, the real issues that you're having hasn't been solved, and it is still there. And the only thing is that for that particular time, probably tempers have been addressed, and you could go and survive a few more days. But those issues will continue to, keep rearing their ugly heads again and again and again, and which is a religious consideration as well. There are so many considerations. There are so many things that people try to, people that are helping people to build a better relationship try to do, and they don't get to understand the person involved. There was a conversation I was listening to recently, and the conversation was about, a woman that the husband cheated on her, and people expect that she either leaves or stays. And people have been shaming people that have stayed in their relationships for a while. People keep shaming people that, why are you still in that place? Why somebody will cheat on you and you're still there? And it was an extreme, is an extreme of some sorts, that why can't you just make up your mind to leave someone that is unfaithful? And that was the shaming that has been around for a while. But I discovered that recently the conversation is being tilted to the other, extreme recently, where people feel like he cheats on you, leave. He cheats on you, leave. He tries to abuse you, leave. And I also think that is another extreme, because the new shaming now is you don't have enough strength to leave. But for me, I think that it's a personality thing. It is your own, the freedom to choose who you want to be is what people should encourage, instead of, trying to box you into any corner with whichever extreme, whether you're staying or you're leaving. Let it be something that is personal. Nobody should shame anybody, and we all need to understand that we are different. We are different one from another. And by the time you begin to tell people that this person has made a mistake, so why are you still there? But it might not be a deal breaker for me, and so why should I be shamed for staying? It may just not be a deal breaker for me. I may be able to cope. And we are also forgetting that it takes a lot of strength to forgive. If you have been in that space before, you know that it is hard work to stay and to forgive and to work on that journey again and to be able to get yourself to the other side. So either extreme, I think that we should avoid, but we should pay attention to the person that is involved. Do not ask a person that does not have the staying power to stay. And don't ask the person that can stay. Don't shame the person that can stay out of staying and making the person believe that I don't have strength. And so what I'm trying to say in essence is that we are all different. Our differences will show in our relationships, and it should be respected. What I want might necessarily not be what you want, and we should be comfortable enough. We should be vulnerable enough. We should be free enough to talk about the things that we actually want, without being judged, whether from our partner or from the watching world. If I choose that, please be kissing me every morning, nobody should hear my case and say, in Africa, why do you want somebody to kiss you every morning? I want, and and whatever that means to me, you don't know. You don't know where I'm coming from. You don't know what hugging and kissing means to me. Probably I grew up from a background that nobody ever acknowledges my presence. And right now I need someone that would acknowledge my presence. Would I need to grow? Yes. Would I need to, develop and become more mature in some of my demands? Yes. But at that time that I'm feeling it, don't make it sound like a crime. And what I'm saying is that there is an individuality that we all bring to our relationships that should be respected. And so, if there's anything that I'm planning and wishing that we work together, is to get to that point where you can own your individuality and be able and proudly talk about your individuality. And I hope that we'll be able to do this, every Saturday. Today is just to give a general overview of what the entire platform is and to tell you my own fears, my own confessions. So if today is going to be anything, I'm going to say I want to talk about the purpose of this platform and also my own confession. So I've talked about my confessions, how it was really difficult for me to get this started because I feel like, well, we have so many fishes in the ocean, which is true, but it doesn't stop my own DNA to be added to, whatever is going on. And also to help us to get to speed about the things that we should expect on the platform. Next week, we're going to choose a topic and we're going to talk about it, deeply. Like I'm a teacher, I know I'm a teacher, and so if there's anything I do, I pick a topic and I dissect it. So if we are going to be talking about singles, we're going to talk about singles from a point where we will be able to gain real clarity about whatever issues that we raise. And we're going to be talking about anything that is, in marriage. We're going to talk about it from a depth that you would appreciate. And so thank you very much for being here. Today is just about setting the ball rolling and setting our expectations as to what to expect. So I intend to help us to embrace our individuality, to help us seek our own type, the way we want to be loved, and to be able to have real and real conversations with our partners that is not based on what anybody expects from us. It is going to be we're going to be true to ourselves. We're going to be open to talk about our mistakes. I always make one, so I'm always making one. So it's not going to be about the packaging. It is going to be about what is real to us and the mistakes that we make. And I thank God for the fact that I can see my kind of people here. When I said sometimes around is easier, somebody was doing yes, it's easy. Let us be real, because there are times that we continue to chase the shadows of people that make us feel like we are inadequate because we are human beings. But we are all human and we make mistakes, and we should acknowledge these mistakes. That is the only way that we can actually go forward. So there are times that I will bath and come here. Today is the first day. I try to bath, I try to rub small makeup, and I think I'm looking a bit too. But there are times that we not have it as nice as that. It is not the bathing that will not make what we want to say. That will not make it productive. So, boy, thank you very much for being here. I'm sincerely very encouraged. I can see Pastor Paul, our president, online. Thank you very much for being here. I cannot say another person. I don't know how to do this thing very well. But at least I'm learning. Aki, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. And which will bring me to the end of today's life series. It's our episode 1, and from next week we'll continue to move forward with more strength and try to pick a topic and talk about it very well. It's a relaxed atmosphere, no forming who you are not. I don't even know how to speak plenty grammar. If you need grammar, my husband will be here. One day you come and join me here. We plan to bring guests from time to time, and we also plan to bring people on board that can help us solve some of these issues. People that are good in whatever area. Thank you very much for being here. It is my pleasure to have you on board. And till next week when I come your way again, at 7 o'clock before we go for parties and everything. And thank God now I have a good reason to be busy on Saturday morning. Thank you very much. Timi, thank you very much. Shani007, thank you very much. And we hope that we'll be able to build a stronger relationship. So till I come your way next week. God bless you. Bye bye. I don't know how to put up this thing. Somebody may come out to you. See you later in a jiffy. Bye bye. Bolaji. See you, Bab. Hey, Fagbonka Eric, I see you. Bye bye. Oh, yeah, Baba, me pa.